Live from KSAT 12, the 6 o'clock news starts right now.
The $2.9 billion San Antonio City budget now passed with no talks of defunding SAPD. We're going to break down what the city plans to do instead, along with other funding changes.
Plus, a man shot while sleeping outside and left for dead is talking publicly for the first time. Hear his message to the suspect tonight. But first, major changes coming to most Texas cities, and in the midst of this pandemic, it could create an economic ripple effect. The governor today announcing that decreases of COVID-19 hospitalizations means most businesses can expand their operations next week. Ursula Perry breaks down who will benefit from those changes and who will not.
Many nursing home residents trapped by COVID-19 restrictions will get their first visitors in months. Starting next Thursday, visitation at group homes and senior centers can resume. A huge win for family members who've been locked out. Many businesses get a win, too. Those operating at 50% capacity these last few months can now expand to 75% starting Monday, September 21st. These include retail stores, restaurants, offices, manufacturing plants, and museums. What's left out of the mix once again? Texas bars. The governor says they cannot reopen until a better protocol is developed and in place.
We need to see COVID numbers continue to be contained. And we need to work with the bars on effective strategies that will ensure that when they do open, the possibility of spread of COVID is contained.
One more business segment is expanding under the governor's new orders: hospitals. The governor says they can now return to normal operations on Thursday, September 24th. All this provided one number remains in place. The number of hospitalizations due to COVID-19 must remain below 15% for these new orders to go into effect.
If COVID hospitalizations rise above 15% for 7 consecutive days, then course correction is going to be needed.
Of the 22 hospital regions in Texas, there are 3 that fall into that category: Rio Grande Valley, Laredo, and Victoria. All of them have hospitalization rates for coronavirus at 15% or higher. Unless they lower those rates down, they're going to continue to stay at the existing business levels, 50% capacity. Ursula Perry, KSAT 12 News.
As we mentioned earlier, bars were not one of the things expanding capacity or even reopening under the governor's announcement today. To bar owners like those at Big Hops, the once popular beer pub is now only selling beer to go for a few hours on Fridays and Saturdays. Its owner says he and many others like him don't know what to do now.
I don't understand. How can you open up Cowboy Stadium to 30,000 people? How can you have other large businesses open, small businesses open all over the place, and then still have our industry shut down for more than 5 months?
The owner of Lucy Cooper's, an ice house on the north side, able to keep it open because it was already selling food. Yet she told us she believes the governor is, in her words, still vilifying one sector of the state's service industry. Bars have been closed since June.
For months now, local activists have been calling for the defunding of the San Antonio Police Department, but that won't be coming this year. The City Council today passed a $2.9 billion budget that will increase the police budget to $486.5 million. City Hall reporter Garrett Berger takes us to that vote today and the passionate opposition to this plan.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. It's a vote that will have many activists frustrated.
We're tired of thinking of different ways to tell you the same thing. We aren't stupid and we aren't going to go away.
Despite months of continuous calls to defund SAPD, the department's budget will be largely unchanged next year. In fact, it will go up by more than $7 million, mostly due to scheduled raises and increased healthcare costs. The city has said most of the police budget is tied to the union contract, and the rest of it includes things like the 911 call center and facility maintenance. None of the council members today moved to make any large cuts to police, though some acknowledged a need for change.
I will not sit by and not recognize that there are reforms that need to be made in law enforcement in our community.
District 8's Manny Pelaez said council members need to balance competing interests, and that he knows that many of those calling in believe funding the department is, in his words, tantamount to hating black or brown people or not caring about them.
But I also get a message from my neighbors, and their message is coming in 5 by 5 also, and they're telling me they want a well-funded police department.
Instead of an immediate move to defund, city leaders have pointed to other avenues of change. Negotiations for the next union contract will begin by January, and the city also plans to review the SAPD's functions and possible alternatives. But that process wouldn't be done until springtime.
Now, the police union, on the other hand, applauded the vote, though in a release statement, it also warned of local efforts to repeal state laws that would remove many of the disciplinary protections they have. The repeal movement, the statement says, is just one more way to defund police. Live in the newsroom, I'm Garrett Berger. Steve, Myra.
Thank you, Garrett. Next week, KSAT will be hosting a political forum with Democrat Christine Hortek and Republican Trish DeBerry, the candidates in the Bexar County Commissioner's Precinct 3 race. But first, we'd like to hear from you and your thoughts on this race. Right now on KSAT.com, you can submit your questions for both candidates on the ticket. The forum will be coming this Tuesday, September 22nd at 7:30 p.m. on KSAT.com and our streaming platforms.
A man who was shot while sleeping outside last month, now on the road to recovery with a story to tell. San Antonio police are still looking for the person who left him for dead outside of a Southeast Side business. As Katrina Weber shows us, the man and his family are at a loss as to why someone would do this.
Ernest Diaz is carrying around a lot of extra weight, even though he lost weight due to what happened one morning last month. He says 1 minute he was sleeping outside the store on South W.W. White, and the next,
waking up to hear the gunshot and then realizing it was me that got hit and then the pain.
According to San Antonio police, he was the victim of an unprovoked attack, shot by someone who left him for dead.
I know I prayed to God and I passed out like literally right after I said amen.
Diaz lay there bleeding until workers arrived 3 hours later. His family, meanwhile, had no idea where he was. Diaz said he had left home because of mental problems.
I opened the door, I go, what? He goes, I got shot. And I was like, what?
His girlfriend says Diaz suddenly showed up at her door after more than a week in the hospital.
If he doesn't take this, he's going to be in severe pain. He has to take this for the rest of his life.
The shooting damaged many of his internal organs and shattered his family.
My mother would never imagine their kids getting shot, especially while they sleep.
Although the crime was caught on camera, police still have not caught the shooter. One of the workers who found Diaz here that morning told me she's glad to know now that he survived. She says although she didn't know him personally, she actually started a prayer group to pray for his recovery.
You know, I got to give God thanks for sure.
With his body on the mend, the family now is worried about finances, how they'll pay for this. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
One man is in the hospital and 2 police officers on administrative leave tonight. Around 7 this morning, Balcones Heights police were called to the Spanish Keys Apartments on Babcock Road in Hillcrest for reports of a man waving a weapon. Police say the man refused to put his hands up and wedged himself in between 2 cars. The Balcones Heights police chief says the man made a sudden move to grab what officers thought was a gun, so they opened fire, shooting off 5 rounds. Turns out the suspect had a piece of pipe, not a gun. The man was shot in the knee and taken to a hospital.
It's a makeshift piece of pipe that's imitating a weapon. Unless you're an expert from far away, I'm sure that's why the residents probably took it as what it was.
Balcones Heights police say they will release the body cam video of what happened when they can do so without jeopardizing the investigation.
Arson investigators looking into what caused the Gotti Food Mart to catch on fire just before 1 a.m. today. The store is located in the 1300 block of Roosevelt. The store sustained extensive damage inside. Witnesses say this store fire, a huge loss for the neighborhood as well.
I feel really bad because this store, like nothing happened over here, nothing, not even a robbery. Like it was a good store. People was all, they're all good. It was good business too.
The fire officials have not determined if the building is a total loss, but the owner says most of his equipment inside is destroyed.
Let's take a look at time saver traffic right now. This is the camera here at I-10 at Frio. You're looking headed toward downtown. You can actually see where the lanes come together there into downtown. Looks like traffic is slowing down there where all these highways combine. We haven't seen a big tie-up in this area in quite some time, but traffic definitely heavy out there this evening. Students from St. Philip's College are donating a car to one lucky veteran, but it's not just any car. It's a Nissan Cube refurbished and cleaned up by the students from the school's Collision and Refinishing Tech program. The car was donated to the program by ProCare Collision. The veteran will be selected through UTSA's Department of Veteran and Military Affairs. The project is expected to be complete by May.
Take a look at live cam outside. Man, we had some great showers, but they were moving through downtown pretty fast.
They were heavy when they were here.
Yeah, some nice heavy rain, but they haven't hung around for too long. And most of the city is dry for now, but that rain did help to drop our temperatures in some spots into the 70s. And we still do have some showers and storms out there, but a little bit of breaking weather news, if you will. We have our newest tropical depression, Tropical Depression 22, and it's a little closer to home there in the Bay of Campeche and southern Gulf of Mexico. So Tropical Depression 22, it could become Wilfred unless another system takes that name first, and then it would be Tropical Storm Alpha. We've got a lot to talk about as far as this is concerned, and I'll get you another look at radar coming up in just a bit.
St. Mary's University hoping to create a diverse group of players for their esports program. Tonight, how they're bridging the gap of accessibility.
We are just seconds away from today's daily briefing on COVID-19. The numbers continue to go in the right direction. Let's listen in.
Dr. Jinda Wu, who is our medical director for San Antonio Metro Health, and this is our COVID-19 update for the San Antonio community. Tonight we're reporting 141 new cases of COVID-19, which brings our total to 50,425 confirmed cases since the pandemic began. Our new 7-day moving average is now 128 new cases per day. We have, unfortunately, 2 new deaths to report, which brings the total to 1,040. Our thoughts are with their family and friends as they grieve during this difficult time. We have lost far too many of our neighbors and friends and colleagues and loved ones during this pandemic, and we want to keep them in our thoughts. Over in the hospitals, tonight there are 214 patients in the hospital, which is up 4 from yesterday. And there's also a slight uptick in the number of admissions to our hospitals within the last 24 hours, 37 new COVID-19 related admissions to the hospital. A reminder that we must remain vigilant against this virus. We will be watching those numbers carefully. We've fluctuated a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and we don't want to see a new trend develop, and we are certainly watching it closely because we're getting to the point where we'll start to see the Labor Day impacts, if there are any. We remain at 100 patients in the we remain at 100 patients in the ICU, and there are 43 patients on ventilators tonight. 69% of ventilators are available, and 13% of staffed hospital beds are available. Let me turn it over to Commissioner Rodriguez.
Great, thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everybody. Just wanted to, of course, remind us as there's some changes coming to the orders locally that the governor announced today. That's kind of converging with flu season, so we want to make sure that folks remain, again, diligent and get their flu shots. So there's an opportunity coming up right around the corner. We want to urge everybody to get their flu shot. Bexar County is teaming up with HEB Pharmacy, UHS, and the Freeman Coliseum for a drive-through flu shot drive on the grounds there on not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, September 26th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Of course, if you have insurance, all insurance is welcome, but even if you do not have insurance, this is free flu shot. You do have to sign up ahead of time. As of today, we had about 1,300 people already sign up and register for slots. There's about 3,500 total slots available. So for more information and to register, go to bear.org. If you don't have access to the internet, please go to one of the bibliotheques, and you can call one of our bibliothèque offices at 210-289-0963. The other thing I wanted to mention really quickly, Mayor, is we did finalize this week. I know you guys worked on your budget today. We did as well. Part of that was the election sites we also finalized this week. So we all know we're less than 30 days away from when early voting starts. We have 48 early voting sites this year in Bexar County. So it's up about 6 or 7 from the last presidential election, 287 election day sites. And remember, we've got 18 days this cycle to early vote. So we want to encourage everybody to get out and vote early, take advantage of those 18 days of early vote, expanded hours. The last week of early voting, polls will be open till 10 p.m. So a lot of hard work by our elections office. We want to thank them. Of course, the AT&T Center, as you know, is going to be a mega site. We also established one, not quite AT&T Center size, but the St. Paul Community Center in Precinct 2 will also be a mega site. So we're looking forward to that, and I want to encourage everybody to take advantage of early voting.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner. Also, want to report that San Antonio City Council unanimously approved our FY21 budget this afternoon, and with it, some significant new investments in public health infrastructure, as well as a renewed commitment to the housing assistance program. If you are in need of housing assistance, please go to the website covid19.sanantonio.gov, where you can find information about our emergency housing assistance program, along with many other programs that are available for our community to help folks get back on their feet. Also want to draw your attention to the workforce job training recovery program that's actively enrolling people now. If you've been displaced from work because of COVID-19 and need to train up a new skill for jobs that are available today in our community, you can get more information by calling 210-224-HELP. As always, you can get the latest on COVID-19 by texting KSAT.gov to 55000, or you can go to the website anytime for the health data and all the other information at covid19.sanantonio.gov. The Commissioner and myself.
All right, for a large part, the encouraging trends continue. 141 new cases, that brings us to 50,425. 2 new deaths to report, which brings our total to 1,040. And you heard County Commissioner Justin Rodriguez there talking about just how important flu shots are.
And he also was talking about the issue of voting coming up. We know that a lot of different sites, mega sites, have been set up and hopefully stipulations put in place, because voters definitely want to stay safe as they go exercise their right to vote. We are seeing the numbers in COVID-19 fluctuate just a little bit. And as we talked about here just a few days ago, we're still waiting to see what will happen once we get 2 weeks out from Labor Day and the start of in-person learning. So we will definitely continue to keep tabs on that.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, some parts of our viewing area are still getting rain. We got some rain downtown. I hope you got some rain in your backyard. Katie.
Yeah, a nice scattering of some showers and non-severe storms this afternoon. Things are starting to quiet down, and the trend as we approach sunset will be that this rain activity will wrap up. A look at what's going on in Bexar County and San Antonio. Again, radar pretty quiet after a couple of cells moved on through there, but we've got a couple of lingering showers trying to work into the hill country there from Kirk County all the way over to just north of Blanco, west of 35. Shower moving through Concan. We've also got some activity in northern Kinney County and a few showers north of Del Rio. So this activity has been working, moving south, working in from the north, and it's going to continue to try to sneak in over the next couple of hours. But we're even starting to see some of the more widespread activity that was down well to the south of Highway 90. That's starting to wrap up as well. But for the next couple of hours, an isolated shower or storm is not out of the question. Keep in mind your temperatures will vary depending on if you've seen rain today. If you've seen rain, you're already in the 70s. If not, you're a little bit warmer. Can't rule out a stray shower late this evening, but then overnight rain chances will drop out of the forecast. So enjoy it today. Hope you can get a little bit more rain before the day is up, because tomorrow our rain chances really start to decrease. Stray afternoon storm not out of the question. But then as we get into this weekend, rain chances drop off the board. It's going to be very nice, though, with some drier air in place. Mornings are going to be absolutely wonderful. I think you're really going to like it. Now, as we get into early next week, that's when we start to turn our focus to what's going on in the tropics. And just at the top of the hour, the National Hurricane Center did upgrade this area of shower and thunderstorm activity to a tropical depression. So this is Tropical Depression 22. It's not until it becomes a tropical storm that it will get a name. That's when winds are above 39 miles per hour. So we're not too far away from that. And this would likely be Tropical Storm Wilfred, the last name on our list for the 2020 season. So this is going to hang out in the southern Gulf of Mexico for several more days. I'm talking through the end of the weekend. model consensus here with our spaghetti plots does try to turn this off to the west early next week. So it's not out of the question that this has some impacts on our forecast, but it likely wouldn't be until the early and middle part of next week. So this is something we're going to continue to keep tabs on. And I've kind of broken down the forecast as far as that tropical disturbance is concerned. Several different factors and how we feel about them at this time. We're going to talk about that, and we'll take another look at radar coming up next half hour. Guys.
All right. Thanks, Katie.
You know, touchdown celebrations have changed since I was a kid.
A little bit.
There's Billy White Shoes Johnson. There was the bird.
Yeah.
Was
Icky Shuffle.
Icky Shuffle.
Yeah.
Now we're showing off ink.
Feed me.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
I joked with Greg on Sunday night. He has one here that says, I've eaten. His response, I've eaten a lot.
Greg's?
Yeah, that's Greg's tattoo on his belly. Coming up, we're going to talk about a more six-pack stomach, Ezekiel Elliott and his Feed Me tattoo. Plus, Brandeis Volleyball is gearing up for a very tough season opener. Coming up.
I was hoping Greg would say, meet me for an early birthday.
Pro football coverage, powered by Davis Law Firm.
Zeke's Feed Me tattoo on his belly is a hit. After scoring a touchdown against the LA Rams in the season opener, Elliott lifted up his jersey to show off his Feed Me tat, complete with the spoon. That sent social media into a frenzy. Elliott said that's his brand, Feed Me. He got the ink in Dallas shortly before training camp started and said it was painful. Wide receiver Michael Gallup digs it.
Feed him. I don't see why you wouldn't. But you know, it ain't too bad. You know, Zeke's always coming up with something funny that you know, get everybody going. So for him to get that new tattoo, lift up his shirt when he scored, I mean, he's just telling you plain and simple, just feed him. I got kids, so you know, I wouldn't say I approve it, you know, but I mean, it's a dope tattoo. I mean, as long as he take care of it, you know, they keep feeding him and he gets the touchdowns. I ain't got no problem with the tattoo.
Zeke will get fed the ball this Sunday at noon when the Cowboys host the Atlanta Falcons at AT&T Stadium in front of a limited crowd. Atlanta allowed 84 yards on the ground in their season opening loss to Seattle. And the Houston Texans will host the Baltimore Ravens in their home opener Sunday afternoon. Baltimore hammered the Browns in Week 1 38-6, while the Texans lost to Kansas City 34-20. But unlike the Chiefs, the Texans will not have fans in the stands in NRG Stadium, at least to start. This could change as the season goes on. Deshaun Watson says he has a job to do, fans or empty stadium.
Once we step on the field as you know, players and coaches, we're, you know, so locked in on the task and the game plan ahead. You know, we kind of just block out that noise. And even if it's, you know, a crowd going up, of course you can feel the energy of the crowd and things like that. But you know, going out the first week and seeing the games around, you know, people were just locked in on, you know, what their task and what their job was.
Houston and Baltimore will kick Sunday, 3:25 p.m. The Ravens are favored by 7. Turning to high school volleyball, Brandeis is back to work and getting ready for a brand new season. COVID-19 delayed the start of 5A and 6A volleyball by a good month, so the Broncos were very eager to get back in the gym together. COVID-19 protocols are in place, but Coach Maddie Williams says the kids don't mind because they just want to play.
It's great. The kids are bought in. We don't argue with them. They know what to do. We had a banner picture the other day in front of the school, and their question was, which mask do we wear? It wasn't about, oh, we have to do this again. They're bought in, and they realize that it's keeping us healthy. We have our screen checks. We have our daily protocols we do, and it's working for us.
Brandeis will open up Saturday with the defending district champion Clark Cougars, a tough 28-6A match right out of the gate, and 2 playoff squads from last season.
Clark's usually been one of our biggest opponents, and obviously we have to train really well against them. But I think that if we really come together as a team and play to our full potential, that we can get them.
We're definitely getting prepared, as you could see in the gym, and then this is one of our biggest rivals because we have other big commitments on the other team. So we are very excited for this game.
That being our first game is crazy to us, but we've been working really hard this week on the certain things that we were kind of challenged on last year. When it comes to Clark, they're a great team and they have some great girls, and I think it's really competitive with them. We always get at it, it's just a fun game.
Brandeis and Clark will play Saturday, 1:30 p.m. at Northside Sports Gym. And by the way, happy birthday to Carly Ferris. We are wishing her a good one. Guys.
Happy birthday, Carly.
Yeah. Yes, happy birthday.
All right. Thank you, Larry.
Our KSAT Q&A with Dr. Ruth Berggren up next.
One of the things we love to do for our KSAT Q&A is separate the fact from the fear that's out there. And that's why we are always happy to be joined on Thursdays by infectious disease doctor from the Long School of Medicine at UT Health San Antonio, Dr. Ruth Berggren. Doctor, thank you for joining us. Where are we vaccine-wise right now, and what are the developments that you're hearing about?
So a very important development came out yesterday, which is that the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC in Atlanta, published online a playbook for vaccination. And what this means, it's a 55-page document. It's available in the public domain if you want to go look it up. It is the CDC telling communities like ours how to get organized and what to expect to prepare for delivering the vaccine. And we think right now that there may be as many as 5 vaccines that are approved, and they will be from different companies, different brand names. Most of them are going to require 2 shots. So you don't just go get 1 injection. You get your first shot, and then you wait 3 to 4 weeks, and you go back for your second one. And you're going to have to make sure that you get the same kind that you got the first time. In other words, they're not mix and match. So there are some logistical issues. We're not just going to be able to get everybody in a line and drive through and expect people to get vaccinated and have it be over with. It's a little more complex than that. And also, the vaccination is expected to be taking place in 3 different phases. So because not all of the vaccine, we don't think, is going to be available at once. And so in the first phase, we'll be targeting and prioritizing those people that are at highest risk for having a bad outcome, like older folks, and also people that are on the front lines, those that are taking care of the people with COVID. Those people will get the vaccine first. And then in the second phase, additional people will be immunized, and so on and so forth. But it's a big logistical hurdle, and one that we have to get ready for, and one that's going to require a lot of partnerships between our public and private sectors.
So there is a lot to follow when it comes to this potential vaccine. But the conversation around vaccines right now is really twofold, because we're not just talking about a COVID vaccine at this time of the year. We're talking about the flu vaccine as well. You have been reminding people now is the time to go get that vaccine. Given this pandemic, what would you say to someone who says, well, I don't normally get it, and usually I'm fine every year?
Yes, so this year is the most important time to be thinking about it, because influenza symptoms are just virtually indistinguishable from COVID-19 symptoms. And we're heading into the fall. Schools have opened. If you get sick, you're not going to know which one you have, and there might be a surge going on. You'll have to get tested. You're going to have to get tested one way or the other, and it just creates a lot of commotion. And you could get both. You could get both flu and COVID at the same time and get even sicker. So multiple reasons to get your flu shot. Get it done now. I had mine yesterday. Very proud of that. So I understand some people in the newsroom might have gotten their flu shot very recently.
Dr. Ruth, I did it today. I knew I was going to make you proud.
She gets a gold star. Yeah.
I get a gold star from Dr. Ruth.
Steve, you're lagging behind. Now get with the girls.
It's part of my life.
You'll get there.
I'll get there eventually. Yeah. So clearly what we're doing right now is working when you look at the numbers, the masking, the social distancing, the washing your hands. But there are still people who are very sick in our community. I mean, you've seen that up close.
Up close, people in their 20s. I saw people today ranging from early 20s to late 70s and in between. And it's heartbreaking to see somebody who had a lot of life ahead of them, and now they're desperately, desperately ill. So people should not imagine to themselves that the virus is gone or that it's become less dangerous. It's still here. People are still coming in. Thank goodness there's fewer of them. But if we let our guard down, we're just going to see this multiply. So hang in there. I know people are tired of hearing about it, but we have to hang in there. And a vaccine is definitely on its way, so it's not going to be forever.
I saw something that grabbed my attention. It's a picture of you with a quote from you and basically talking about how voting is good for your health. Explain that to me.
How could voting be good for your health in the middle of a pandemic? Well, it turns out that people have studied those who vote and compared them to those who don't. In a lot of the literature surrounds young adults, and it's actually been shown in the literature that people who are civically engaged, they engage in civic activities, including voting, actually have better social connections, stronger social networks, better mental health, are less likely to engage in risky behaviors later in life, and therefore they're doing all sorts of things that can actually help them live longer. So would you live longer if you voted in a pandemic? The answer is it could be true if you do it safely. And so safe voting is going to be a major area of focus that everybody's going to be hearing a lot about in the weeks to come from our community COVID-19 response coalition and from the county as well.
And there are a lot of health safety precautions that the Bexar County Elections Office has put in place. So things will look a little bit different when people go to vote this year. But you can go to our website right now. Anyone who wants to know what that's going to look like can check out all of the changes that are in place to keep everyone safe while we vote. Dr. Ruth Bergeron, as always, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you again tonight at 10.
Thank you, Doctor. We'll be right back. We are following two major accidents right now. You are looking at Sky 12 on the far northwest side near Rogers Road and Mount Evans Drive.
This crash happened just before 6 o'clock this evening. You can see a silver car there off to the side of the road, badly damaged. Several emergency responders there on scene. 4 fire trucks, looks like 5 actually, that we can count from this view. We don't know exactly what happened here. It almost looks like they're surrounding that vehicle, still trying to get someone out potentially.
Right, that somebody may be trapped inside. There's also another accident that we're following that is near New Laredo Highway. We have a photographer on the scene of that one. And as soon as we get more details, of course, we will tell you. And just adding to your suspicions that somebody may be trapped in there, it almost looks like those are doors that are on the sidewalk there, or somehow trying to get to somebody that may be trapped inside that vehicle. And that's certainly what it looks like first responders are doing, is trying to get somebody out.
We will continue to follow that.
Thousands of sea turtles crawling ashore in Costa Rica to nest. The phenomenon happens every September, but this year visitors almost missed out. Access to the beach had been restricted due to the pandemic. The protected area in the province of Guanacaste reopened just in time to welcome the turtles.
That looks so neat. Visitors were required to wear masks, practice social distancing. A new set of turtles will do this again in October. Check this out. A dad in Ohio made a candy chute as an alternative to keep trick-or-treating safe this Halloween. Andrew Beatty made his 6-foot-long chute from materials around his house. He attached it to the handrail outside. On Halloween night, he said he will wear a mask and gloves to drop candy down the chute for trick-or-treaters on the other side.
That's a great idea.
Isn't it?
I might do that at my house. Beatty says he hopes this will keep the holiday tradition alive.
I've seen a lot of articles about alternatives to Halloween, how things may change, so it's already on people's minds.
I like it.
I was just going to sit on my porch and try to get the little Snickers bars into the Halloween bag.
You were going to gently toss them at trick-or-treaters?
Or toss them.
Or just...
Maybe work on the shoot idea.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm going to the shoot idea.
I like
Thank
that
you,
idea.
Katie.
That's
Katie.
very cool. Yeah, I mean, creativity. Great.
Yeah.
Love it. Today's almanac, let's see if we picked up any rain at the airport. Oh, 6/100 of an inch. Could have used a little bit more than that, but that's okay. 73 this morning, up to 90 this afternoon. Big story now breaking just this hour. This here on satellite, this is our newest tropical depression. Could be our next tropical storm very soon. We'll talk more about this, and I'll have a look at when rain chances drop out of the forecast coming up in just a few minutes. All right, some good rain in parts of San Antonio today.
Of course, wondering if there's more where that came from, Katie.
Yeah, it looks like we'll see rain chances drop off for a couple of days starting tomorrow. So it was nice to have that scattering of rain around this afternoon. Still a little bit of activity left on radar, but this will gradually wrap up over the next couple of hours. We'll see the coverage of this rain really start to drop off. So pretty quiet in and around San Antonio in Bexar County, off to the west of 35, north of Highway 90. A few showers trying to hang on there. And we do have a pretty healthy cluster of thunderstorms here along I-10 just north of 10, dropping down into Gonzales County. That'll be approaching the city of Gonzales. Let's give it another 15-20 minutes or so. So Gonzales, if that can hold together, that would give you another nice quick hitting downpour, some rumbles of thunder as well. Some more shower non-severe thunderstorm activity from Atascosa County all the way over to Goliad there in Live Oak County down to Three Rivers. We've got some showers and storms pacing off to the south. So through about 7-8 o'clock, another isolated shower or storm is not out of the question. By later this evening, our rain chances fall to just 10% stray shower possible as we get closer to midnight. Overnight, things should be pretty quiet. Starting off tomorrow morning in the low 70s, up to the mid 80s at lunchtime, and there will be a 20% chance of a stray shower or storm tomorrow afternoon. But what we see on radar tomorrow, going to be much less coverage-wise than what we saw today. High temperature tomorrow, a few degrees shy of 90 degrees. And for the most part, tomorrow still going to feel pretty humid, but we've got a nice little drop in our dew points coming this weekend. There's actually going to be a pretty weak frontal boundary, technically a cold front, but a frontal boundary moving in from the east that will drop our humidity a bit this weekend. So Saturday into Sunday, we'll get some slightly drier air in place, and that is going to help our temperatures to fall off a bit in the morning. So look at your mornings this weekend. Saturday, 65, Sunday, 63. If you're a runner, I'm not really a runner, but if you're a runner, going to be some really nice weather in the mornings this weekend to get out for a walk or a jog or bike ride, something like that. Now, let's shift gears a little bit and talk tropics. Of course, it's been an incredibly busy season, and things are not changing here as we get into September. Tropical Depression 22 has formed this evening. Maximum sustained winds 35 miles per hour to become a tropical storm. We've got to get those maximum sustained winds up to 39 miles per hour. That could happen even by tomorrow, and it would take on the name Wilfred. Notice that is the last name on the list of what has been a crazy hurricane season in the Atlantic Basin. So we've got a center of circulation here down in the far southern Gulf of Mexico. There's South Texas, there's Brownsville. So this thing is still out there a ways, and the Hurricane Center has actually gone ahead and put a forecast cone or a forecast track on this tropical depression. So by Friday, still down in the southern Gulf, even Saturday, still out in the Gulf of Mexico. It will be later in the weekend through early next week that there will be the potential for this system to make a more westward turn toward the Texas coastline. But I want you to look from here all the way down here. This forecast cone, that means the center of that to-be tropical depression, tropical storm could go anywhere from here all the way down there. That's what the error of this forecast cone represents. So you've got to keep that in mind. Basically, that means there's still a ton of question marks with this system and what it could mean for parts of the Texas coast next week. So here's what we're thinking as of this evening. As far as location, we feel fairly confident that it will move north slowly over the next few days and then take a gradual westward turn late in the weekend, early next week. Now, as far as intensity goes, how strong will this system be? Still a lot of questions there as it moves slowly through the Gulf. Timing, when could it affect us and what does it mean for our local rain chances? Because there's so much uncertainty about where it will go and when, still a lot of uncertainty when it comes to our local forecast. That's just the nature of these tropical systems. Of course, we'll be keeping you updated over the next several days as the forecast becomes a bit clearer. Just keep in mind, we'll probably have to tweak the rain chances early next week, but we'll keep you updated over the next several days. Guys.
Take that lower humidity in the meantime.
Yeah, we will.
Nice. Thanks, Katie. In case you missed it, coming up next.
All right, mentioned a few minutes ago, we're following two major accidents at this hour. Right now, you're looking at Sky 12. This is on the far west side. This one, I believe, is the one that's near New Laredo Highway and Plum near.
This is on the 8600 block of New Laredo Highway. We don't have any indication as to what happened here, but you can see all those skid marks in this area. I don't know if this is an area that's traveled by a lot of different vehicles because you can see other cars parked on the side of the road here. Here is now a shot from the ground of this accident scene. That pickup truck clearly involved in this collision here. The front badly damaged. Again, this on the southwest side, New Laredo Highway near Plum near.
Yeah, and it looks as actually there may be 3 or 4 vehicles that are involved in this accident. Yeah, there you see what's a business van, then you see the silver car, and then the 2 vehicles that are on the road itself. So this is in addition to the accident that we saw on Rogers Road. But, you know, 2 major accidents that San Antonio Police and Bexar County Sheriffs are involved in at this hour.
You can see some traffic moving through very slowly there. But again, we're going to stay on top of these crash scenes and let you know any latest developments. We'll be right back. We want to go back to the scene of that crash. We're continuing to follow this one happening on the southwest side, the 8600 block of New Laredo Highway near Plum near. You can see that van there involved, that commercial van, that white car there. There's also a pickup truck, an SUV. We've got at least 4 vehicles that we can count that are involved in this crash, badly damaged at this point.
Yeah, we have it covered from the ground and the air as well, but you can tell that this was a major accident. We did see traffic kind of trickling through this area. Again, here's a live shot with Sky 12 to give you an idea, but right now it looks like they have the area completely shut off from traffic. Also following another major accident near 1604 on Rogers Ranch Road.
We'll have all the